It's live.
Yay! Did we do it?
Got it.
Okay, so hi, we're here, we're live. This is so weird. I haven't done it like this before. So I am Tabitha. I know it says Christina Delgado on my screen, but you'll just have to ignore that for right now. I am Tabitha. I am one of the coaches that could have invited you today. We are super excited to have you here. I have no idea who is on, who can see us or anything, but I'm super excited to have my buddy Melissa here to talk with us. She is part of our organization. But I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown and kind of give you an idea of how this call is going to go, or this little sneak peek info. You're probably like, what the heck am I doing? You kind of have an idea why you're here. But basically, we're just going to kind of give you the lowdown on what this coaching thing is, this side hustle, this full-time business that that we do, what it's about, why we're here, what it's done for us, and everything. So I'm Tabitha. I am your host for the evening. The way we're going to kind of do this, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, how I got started in this business, and then I'm going to introduce my buddy Melissa here, who's going to talk about herself and how she got started, and then we're just going to kind of do this interview style. I'm going to ask her some questions, and she's just going to tell you all the things. So I'm Tabitha. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have been married to my husband for 10.5 years. I have 3 kids, 3 girls. My first daughter, Savannah, would have been 9 years old this year, but she passed away when she was 7.5 months old in 2010. But I have 2 sweet little babies that I get to hold in my arms every day, Ella and Lily. Ella is 4.5. Well, actually, she'll be 5 in June. And then Lily will be 3 in July. I am a nurse. I started off as a postpartum and NICU nurse, and now have kind of changed over to endoscopy, which is colonoscopies and all that kind of fun stuff, mostly for the schedule. I started coaching about 2.5 years ago. I initially got into it because I was just postpartum with my youngest baby, Lily, and was really deep in some postpartum depression and anxiety, and was just really looking for something more to get me out of that kind of deep pit. And what ended up happening is my friend who I knew was doing this 21-day boot camp, I asked her about it, and I found out that I could still breastfeed while I was doing it. And so I signed up and I said, yeah, let's do it. And then eventually she kind of started to say, well, are you loving Shakeology? And I was loving it. And I signed up for the discount. And then it just started to organically grow into this business type thing where I just started sharing my journey, and I realized that there was a need for this out in the world. And so it's been a privilege and an honor in the last 2.5 years to be able to share my journey and be able to help so many other women who were in that place that I was in 2.5 years ago, and to help them grow. And my passion and my drive has kind of evolved over time, over the last 2.5 years, but it has been an amazing journey. And I am kind of projected right now. I still work full-time as a nurse, and I do this kind of in my pockets of time. But I am projected to be able to do this full-time by next year. So I'm really excited to do that. I'm really excited to be able to retire my stethoscope. As much as I love nursing and it is a passion, my babies are only going to be babies for so long. So I'm so excited that I have this little golden nugget of an opportunity to be able to provide these kinds of memories and things with my kids. And Melissa is like, I get to look at her and see what my future can look like for our family. So I'm going to send it over to Melissa. And I just want to tell you really quickly, Melissa and I would never have met ever if it weren't for Beachbody. We literally live on 2 opposite ends of the world. She's in California and I'm in Texas. And we are part of the same umbrella organization. And we were doing an what do you call it? Interorganizational competition, I guess you could say. And that's how we kind of really connected. And I actually had fangirled over Melissa a year before that from a previous group that I was in. And she created so much belief in me. It was honestly and truthfully, it was because of Melissa that I started to see myself as a leader. And now I've never met her in real life. And I get to meet her at the end of this month, and I can't wait to squeeze her face in real life because I just love her to pieces. And so that's just one of the many, many things that I love about this business. So I'm going to hand it over to Melissa. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself, and then we're going to go.
Thanks, Tab. So first of all, I'm honored to have been asked to speak to you guys. Beachbody really came into my life when I needed it most, and I didn't know I needed it. I was desperate for more, and I really didn't know what more was. I basically had tried every fad diet out there, every diet pill out there. I didn't understand the importance of nutrition or fueling your body. Like, I just wanted the next quick fix, and that's what I thought the 21-day fix was going to be. I had been watching a woman silently on social media who actually lived in Texas, and by watching her, I started watching two other coaches from the organization, and one of them had been asked to be a part of the 21-day fix test group, which was what Tab had just told you, the first program that she had done. And I watched her go through this 21 days, and I just kept thinking to myself, if this woman, who is a lawyer, she's a busy mom of two, who literally doesn't have 12 pounds to lose, can lose 12 pounds in 21 days, like, I could do that. Like, I could do 21 days. And so after watching for 13 months silently, I made a decision to just kind of go all in. And I reached out to my coach and kind of cried my eyes out on the phone with a stranger, because I had watched her silently, but I felt like I knew her. I felt like I knew her story. And I wanted the freedoms that she had. And over the course of the past 5 years, it's given me the freedoms, and I stopped wishing and wanting those things and started making them a reality. And it took me from a place of hopelessness and desperation and being overweight and anxious and tired and exhausted. Not to say that that doesn't happen, you guys, in motherhood and in life and working, multiple jobs. And it took me to this place where it was like, I didn't feel hopeless anymore. It was like I was so filled with hope and so positive that this was that light that I was looking for. It really introduced me to so many different layers and levels of myself that I didn't know. I feel like ultimately God perfectly orchestrated this business and placed it in my path, because, like I said, I'd been searching my whole life for something and was hanging on. It was like grasping for air at straws that were like too short, and you're just grasping and grasping and nothing lasted. And this was the thing that stuck. And it wasn't just the products, and it wasn't just the shakes. It was really the community and the sisterhood. And now I'm just on a mission to empower and help people find themselves through getting healthy from the inside out, because so many people don't realize when they want to lose weight, it's really a stem of something else. I should also mention that I do have 3 amazing kids that range from 12 years old, 10 years old, and 4 years old. And my husband and I have been married for 12 years. So, yeah. And we live in Northern California, and it's raining. I'm actually sitting in my car taking this because I had a doctor's appointment. Then I ran to Trader Joe's and Kohl's. So you could do this business anywhere. Like Tab said, in the pockets of your day.
Mm-hmm. Yay! All right. So you see why I love her already? Okay. So we're just going to kind of go into this, and then if I have anything, I guess I'll just kind of piggyback on anything, that you say. So first and foremost, I think this is a huge one. What were your initial fears when starting the business?
That's a really good question. So my initial fears of starting this was that I was going to waste money, that I didn't have the extra money to be putting out into something that wasn't going to pay off. Essentially, I needed to lose the weight, or I needed to make my money back. Also, that I wouldn't be able to inspire anyone, because who was I?
Right. How am I special?
Right. Totally. Nobody wanted to do stuff on Facebook. Was totally a limiting belief. That I didn't know enough people, because I live in a very small town. Mm-hmm. I had maybe 400 Facebook friends, and that I wasn't going to have enough time, because I worked full time. I had 2 small children. I didn't have time to take something else on. Right.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear, is that I wasn't going to have enough time. And I told my coach that. I said, I'm not going to coach. I don't have time. I'm not going to do it. I have 2 small kids. I work full time. We just bought a house. I don't have time for that.
Right.
So as a working mom, because when you started Beachbody, you were working outside the home. So how much time did you actually put into the business, to the point to where, how did that progress over time, where you could finally start to pull back from that corporate job?
I kind of went, when I started working this, I had this same conversation with my coach, like, I'm not going to have time to do this. And then it was like almost instantly that there was like this internal shift with me that like I wanted to be on the calls that were offered. I wanted to be in the training groups, but I was working full time. So I had to respect my employer's time as well. Like I couldn't be working this business while working. So when I went to the bathroom, like I would respond to messages, or on my way to work, I would listen to personal development, which is one of our core things that helps us really make those transitions and really helps us get our feet in the ground so that we can pour out into other people, pouring into ourselves. So on the way to work and on the way home, I would listen to replays of our national wake up call. I would listen to replays of our team calls. I would put my phone on like the dock and do calls with coaches or potential prospects, things like that. So I would say initially leading up to it, all in all, like in a work week, probably like 5 to 10 hours, just depended on, and it was all broken up into pockets. I also made sacrifices though, because I realized early on that this is something that I enjoyed and like it was fun to me and I looked forward to it. So I'd wake up in the morning and get my workout done. So I didn't have to worry about that. Or after my kids were tucked into bed, I would stay up for an hour and catch up on everything. So it wasn't.
So what? Yeah, go ahead.
It just wasn't like, I didn't think I would have time for it, but it's like that saying goes, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse.
Yes.
And I was stronger and like more dedicated and excited about this than the excuses that I had.
Yes, yes. And I love how you talked about the personal development, because I was actually talking to a friend about it today. Like I have been a part of other network marketing companies before, and I have not ever been part of one where personal development is like part of the culture. Like it is essential. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started working the business, I was like, yeah, whatever, that's a load of BS. Like, you want me to read self-help books? Like, haha, that's funny. And then you realize, like, if you're not growing, how can you help other people grow? And so that's like one of my favorite things, is that one of our core vital behaviors is to work on ourself, like to consistently and constantly grow, not just professionally as a network marketer, but personally, like as a mom and a wife and just as a human being. Like that is one of my favorite things.
I can so say that like I came in with like a ton of baggage and like limiting beliefs and like things from my childhood and teenage and mistakes that I made and guilt and all this crap. And like I didn't ever deal with it until I started doing personal development. And I have literally used my mess and turned it into a message, because I really feel God didn't take me through all of that for nothing. And I didn't go through those experiences because he wanted me to feel pain. It was because I had to go through that so that I could lead other people through it. And like I said, I really feel like God perfectly orchestrated this opportunity for my life. I've always loved leadership. I've always loved it. But now I get to do it at such a bigger spectrum.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I think this is kind of like, we always say Beachbody does not, well, I just had a brain fart. We do not guarantee any form of income. It's all about the work you put in. It's about, you showing up every day. But with that being said, how soon did you start like seeing yourself like making an income? Like at what point did you say, maybe I could do this like more than just for funsies or just more than a hobby, or, because like for me, when I initially started, my goal was to get my Shakeology paid for. Like that, and I know we always start with smaller goals. And now obviously my goal is so much bigger. It's to be able to retire myself from my full-time job. So what did that look like for you?
So my initial goal was very similar to yours. I wanted to pay for my Shakeology, and that started happening. So my first paycheck, I started on February 7th, and I got my first paycheck a month later. Like 3 weeks into the business, I started like, hey, do you want to do this with me? Or people were reaching out saying, hey, what are you doing? And so my first paycheck was $72. And I just remember feeling like, dang, like $72, like that's awesome. Like that's really cool. And then within my first month, I think I made like it was like $460 something, so almost $500. I was like, so I just paid for my Shakeology. I could buy another bag for my husband, and I could pay my car payment, because back then I had a Honda. And so that was my next goal, was I was going to pay for my car payment every month. That shifted pretty quickly, because I would in the first 90 days, I was making a consistent $500 a month, which was a huge blessing to our family, because even though my husband and I both worked full time, my husband has a great career. I had just transitioned positions so I took a pay cut. So that extra money was really helpful, but I was getting more time with my family. But then I was like, I felt like we were always chasing the daycare bill. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this side hustle to pay for my daycare. And so it didn't really click for me until I found out a little over 90 days in that I was pregnant with my daughter, which was a complete shock to us. I had the IUD and I was not supposed to have another baby. Well, I thought I wasn't supposed to have another baby. Different plan. And I just took a pay cut in my car and crying, like, how are we going to afford to send a third baby to daycare? Like, that's crazy to me. And then once that wore off, it was, I don't want to send another baby to daycare. Like, I missed out on so much with my boys. And so my goal was to be able to go part-time. So to cut, because it scared the heck out of me to ever think that this would be my full-time job.
Yes.
But during maternity leave, I had a shift. I literally, you guys, I'm not exaggerating. I always used to say if I ever stayed home with my kids, I would be an alcoholic. Like, I had zero desire to stay home with my kids. And then maternity leave came, and it was like I was able to go work in the boys' classes. I wasn't having to ask permission to take them to doctor appointments. I was being able to organize play dates in the middle of the week. We were able to go to unexpected play dates. Like, all those things that I thought I didn't want to be a part of because I loved working and climbing the corporate ladder were now something that I craved. And I was like so envious of other moms. And when I went back to work, I was making like $2,600 a month with Beachbody. Mind you, I was still working full time doing this as a side hustle, and I'm nearly making after daycare more doing this than I was working for someone else. And so in May of 2015, I had been a coach for 15 months. My daughter and my middle son got sick, and I was sobbing in the driveway, and my husband, I had just called the daycare provider, and she was like, "It's totally fine. Bring the kids here tomorrow." And I was angry. I was angry, not at her, but I was angry at the fact that she was able to take care of my sick kids and I couldn't. And that's a huge shift for me. And I crunched the numbers, and I realized that I was making more doing Beachbody at that time than I was working for someone else. And I walked in the next day and I gave an 8-week resignation. And I did that because my coach had done that and her coach had done that. And so I thought that's what I did. Still super terrified. Like, I knew that it was possible, but I didn't necessarily believe that it was possible for me to have that long-term sustainability. But this summer, July 3rd, will mark 4 years that I've been home with my kids, and I've only been a coach for 5 years. So, and is the best decision I've ever made. My only regret is not getting started sooner and not going all in, because the time that you give the kids, just like you said at the beginning of the call, like, you'll never get that time back. And it can be overwhelming and it can be exhausting, and you're running in 30 different directions. But like, I know that there's going to be a time in my life where I look back and I don't say I had to miss out on all that because I was in this meeting or I was at that. And yes, maybe I'm sitting in a parking lot and not home with my kids right now, but they aren't going to remember that. They're going to remember mom picking them up. They're going to remember mom coaching their sister's t-ball game. They're going to remember being able to take 7-day trips in the middle of summer while dad was at work. Like, those are the things we get to do. Disneyland in January, like all the things. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but
no, I loved it.
I hope that you guys just realize that I was just a mom who was desperate for more time with her kids. And if I can do this, anyone can do this. And like I said at the beginning, like, we wouldn't know each other without this opportunity. And it's brought some of the most amazing people into my life. And if I'm being brutally honest, like, I've been going through this heavy season where It's been raining for like 40 days here, and it's weighing on me, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is causing pain. And then it's like you're stuck in the house and all these things. I make one post on social media talking about that, and people can relate to it. I'm not alone in that. And so many people feel like they have to be these picture perfect things. And as coaches, I don't feel like we hold each other those expectations. Like, we're here to lift each other up and carry each other through these rough seasons. And I was talking to my doctor today, like, I don't feel like it's doomsday. Before Beachbody, I did. Like, I felt like I was hopeless. Like, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I
Yeah.
just know this is the funk that I'm going through. And I'm going through it because eventually I'm going to have to help somebody else through it. And maybe it's right now that I have to carry someone through that season. But this is just the biggest blessing of my entire life. And I know what my life would look like without this company and without these friends and this opportunity. And yes, our products are like world-class, amazing, hands down. They've changed my life. They've changed my body. They've changed my mindset. They've changed my health. But it's really the community and the company and the sisterhood and the brotherhood and like the freedom. Freedom for so many things you don't even realize.
Yes. And I think that like, and you touched on this earlier in the call, how you said that, and I know that that's why when people get started, why so many people fall off, because they realize that you have to tap into so much more than just that number on that scale or the size of pants that you want, because it's really an internal battle that something else that you're having to deal with to get through it. So I love that you talked about that. And it's just funny because you talked about, you turn into an alcoholic. I always said if I was a stay-at-home mom, I would still send my kids to daycare. So like it was never something I ever wanted to do. Like, I loved working. I love being a nurse. I love what I do. But whenever I transitioned over to this new job, and I have weekends off now, and I'm off by 5 o'clock. Whereas before I would work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would see my kids Thursday night and I wouldn't see them again until Monday morning. And I've worked 12-hour shifts. Sometimes 12 hours turned into 15 hours. And so when I started working here at this new job and I had better hours, I started to realize it just became a little more palpable. It became more tangible that, oh, I could do this. This is something. And so now it's kind of like gave me a little taste of what it would be like to be home more with my kids, to be available, because I'm more available on the weekends now. But now it's during the week that I'm not available. And, my 4-year-old is fixing to start kindergarten. And I've told you this, Melissa, like, I want to be there to take her to school and pick her up. Like, I want to be the one to do their hair in the morning and get them ready. And so it's just figuring out, like, nursing is always going to be there. My babies are only going to be babies for so long. And so, yeah, I love that. 2 more questions, because I know I don't want to keep people on here too long. So this is kind of a loaded question, but I don't know, you can kind of interpret it. Is this hard to do?
So I'm going to say something that I learned very on in this business. This business is not hard, but it's a heart business. Mm-hmm. And people seem to complicate it because you're dealing with other people. Mm-hmm. And I have been in this for 5 years, so I've seen lots of people come and lots of people go and lots of people quit before they even get started because they're scared of it. So short answer is no, it's not hard, but it does take work. You can't just come in and things are going to happen for you like that. Yes, you can have, your what we call your warm market, which would be like your friends, your family, your current Facebook people who join you. But it's going to take work. It's going to take you digging deep into your crap and sharing your story, because if you get on your social media right now, everybody is selling something, whether it's legging, it's CBD, it's mascara, it's skincare, it's infused, whatever. Like, everybody has a solution for you. But the thing is if you don't know why you're connected to the company and why this mission that you're on is important to you, you're going to have a really difficult time convincing people to join you, because I'm not in the business of convincing anyone. I'm on a mission to help people, like I said before, transform and get healthy from the inside out. So I don't drag anyone along, but I will give them the tools to be successful. I will help them. I will clap for them. But you just have to know, like, if you're going to quit on yourself as easily as that, people are going to do the same thing. So people are typically going to buy into you before, like as they see your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to share it. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to be consistent. Like nobody wants to join somebody who's like hopping from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, because they're not going to trust that. So I don't think it's hard. People just tend to complicate it. We have very simple tasks and daily things that you should be doing to grow your business. And if you don't do that, you can't expect to get the results that you desire.
Yes. Okay. Last question. And I don't think I actually sent you this question, so you have to fly on it. But, you know, obviously we're talking to prospective coaches, people who are interested, people who have, you know, for whatever reason they might need this. So what is the one thing, like the golden nugget that you would want to share with them or tell them, you know, as a new coach or as a prospect, or just your golden nugget of wisdom? Because you've been in this business for 5 years and you've seen a lot of people come and go. And so, yeah.
That's a big question. So I would say number one is if you don't try, you'll never know. And sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith and build your wings on the way down, because this opportunity could end up being like it has for me. That one thing, that one decision that you make, and it might seem like a huge investment at the time, but looking back, it's such a small investment into such a bigger thing for you. And it's not just for you, but like your family. And what is the legacy that you want to start living now? Because for me, like, my kids don't have a broken mom. They don't have a depressed, sad mom. Yes, I might be going through something funky right now, but like, this opportunity has changed my life in ways that is hard for me to even communicate. So I want that for people. I want like strangers walking on the street. My kids get like freaked out when we were in Walmart. They're like, "You're so embarrassing," because I'll start talking to them if they comment on my elite jacket or my Shakeology cup. Like, I'll hand out business cards, because I truly feel like this opportunity can help anyone who's ready to be more, have more, do more, like make a difference. This is not just a business to sell people something and throw them in, like, but you'll never know if you sit on the edge watching everybody else do it. If it's the money, guess what? There's garage sale sites all over Facebook. Go sell the stuff that's not freaking sparking you joy, and get $160, $200 and get signed up.
Yep.
Get involved in the community, like do the things. You would be quick to do that if Justin Timberlake concert came into town. So why aren't you doing something that is going to start helping you make that, like, you want more energy, you want more time with your family, you want to fit better into your clothes, you don't want to feel depressed, you don't want to feel anxious, you don't want to feel alone, you don't want to feel isolated. Some people come into this solely for the community. There's so many people who I talk to and they're like, I don't have support at home. Do you know how heartbreaking that is? Because thank you, Jesus, that my husband has been like supportive since day one. I haven't had to convince him of anything. Like, he has just been like, if this makes you happy, do it. And now he like loves it. We're going on our 5th all expense paid trip in 2 weeks. Like, that's all dude has talked about for like 3 months. I can tell you, he knows everything at every stop we're making, how much the drink packages cost, what level the spa's on. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just have to have the tools for it. Like, you just tell me. So it's not just about you, but it might start that way. It started that way for me. But now it's affected my whole family. It's affected all my friendships. Like, I've gained the most amazing friends. And guess what? I've lost some along the way, because this isn't going to be for everyone. And not everybody is going to clap for you when you win, but you have to learn how to clap for yourself, even if you're the only one doing that right then. You are made for more than just paying bills and dying and like stuffing yourself with stuff that's keeping you sick. Like, if this is something that keeps coming into your head and keeps popping in, and this is your 5th time being in it, or it's your first time, like, just go for it. And if you hate it, which is crazy, I think you're crazy to hate it, get your money back. Your money back, go to Justin Timberlake. But like, invest in yourself first. And then you'll be able to like get a group of friends and go to Justin Timberlake later and be like, I was going to go to Justin Timberlake instead of buying this challenge pack, but now here I am 2 years later and we're in VIP, whatever it is. Not Justin Timberlake. Maybe it's something else. But just think about what's holding you back, because so many of us are so quick to go and get a manicure, get our hair done, buy new shoes, do all the things, upgrade our phones, get fancy eyelashes, all those things, when that is just like feeding the surface level stuff, when you could really be getting to your core and making a transformation of your life.
Well, can we just mic drop real quick here?
I almost said that.
I love it. Just drop it. Well, Melissa, if I couldn't love you anymore, I cannot wait to squeeze your face in a couple weeks. But thank you for joining us, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Reach out to your coach. Let them know that you are ready to do this thing, and we will celebrate you. Thank you, Melissa. I love you.
Bye.
Okay. Have
Bye,
a good
guys.
night, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.